Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it currently looks to be in your corner of the world. I'm going to post this on Saturday, but I'm just going to go ahead and record it on Friday because it's pretty much don't know how I'm going to feel day to day. So if you hear weird sounds, that is Oreo rubbing his face against the microphone. This is Oreo creeping around, by the way. I'm just going to hold the microphone in my hand for a minute while I talk to you before we get started. Now, I don't typically do haul videos. If I get happy mail from someone, I'll talk about that usually. Or, of course, if we're doing reviews or whatever, I'll show that stuff. But because this was Prime Day and I ordered more than one or two little things, I thought it might be a good video to sit and go through some of the stuff I got and just talk about it a little bit. So this is definitely not going to be a review video. Oh my gosh, Oreo, come on, man. What are you doing to me? Yeah, I purchased this on Prime Day too, so I think I'm going to send it back. It's defective. Oh, I'm going to pay for that. He's coming over here now. Anyway, these are some of the purchases these are the actual purchases I made during Amazon's Prime Day. I did buy a nice healthy stack of coloring books, but we will be covering those on Flip Through Friday. So today is just going to be going through some of the actual coloring and art items I bought. And there went a whole thing of markers everywhere. Off. I'm officially kicking you off. And don't awe him, because he never gets kicked off the desk. So I will clean those up later. Whatever. Okay. Oh, it wouldn't be a video unless it was one of my cats causing trouble. Let's go ahead and get started. Move some of these out of the way. So this here are the Gwanghui pencils that I was coloring with in my Hannah Lynn picture a few weeks ago. They are advertised as oily colored pencils, so oil based is what I have seen online. They had the 168 set of these. They are normally close to $30 US, and they had knocked them down to like I think $21 or something. So with almost $10 off of them, I like these pencils so much that if I run out of them, they're not available open stock. So I wanted to go ahead and buy myself a backup set of this. Around $20 is, in my opinion, a really good deal for these. They come in this big plastic pack. And yes, they say Gwanghui here, and it's Gwanghui on the pencils. They're sold under other brands, and they're still Gwanghui pencils. I don't really understand all that, but it is what it is. This is the set I've been buying. So, oh, this is interesting. They actually have a different name on them. Oh my goodness. So my assumption is these are all the same pencil, because these do not say Gwanghui on them. They say Brut Funner. Funner? Boy, that sounded redneck, didn't it? There we go. So these have a Brut Funner on them, which is probably butchering it, but they do not have Gwanghui on them. They do look like they have color numbers on them, which, if I have my swatch book near me, I have a feeling that these will match up perfectly with my Gwanghui pencils, like in terms of color numbers and stuff. Actually, let me take a look at that. Apologize if that was loud. Where did I put it? There you are. Let's get my swatch book and see. It's one of the good reasons of doing this. My massive swatch book. Alright. So we're looking, and I have them listed as Hero, which is even funnier. So there's like 20 different names of these pencils. So this is 040, here is 040 here. So let me just color in right there. And it's blurry. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. It looks to be the same color to me. Let me grab one more real quick. Just if anybody else purchased these, I didn't want them to get these and see a different name on them and be like, what the heck, Michelle? It surprised me. When I looked at the screenshots for the product, it had Gwanghui on the pencils. So this says 004. Here's my 004 here. Let us have a looky. Yeah. The numbers match up. So they're being produced under different brand names, but I think they're the same pencil. They look to be. I won't know 100% for sure until I color with these, which what I may do is go ahead and swap out the pencils that I have with these in their pencil case, and that way I have the new ones ready, and then I can use the shorter ones as backups. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trays, I think. It's 168 pencils. I believe they said there are neons and metallics with them. So there are those. I think I had a backup set, and I think I used it in a giveaway, and then I realized how much I liked them, and I'm like, I need a backup set. Let's hope in 6 months I don't forget that and then end up using those in a giveaway and doing it again. Anyway, I talked about how much I like the Arteza water brushes. Where'd they go? They had them marked down by a few dollars, so I picked up another pack of those. I feel like you can never have too many water brushes, which is also why I got the Pentel Aquash water brushes. They had this set marked down too. I have seen a few people using these, so I was curious to see how they would do. When I started doing watercolor with water brushes, I used some Derwent ones that I had bought, which are a little high, but I had a lot more trouble controlling water with those, and I wonder how it's going to be with the Pentels. At least with Artezas, you do have this little button that helps you control it a little better. So, we shall see. The other pencil set I got is a pencil set I didn't have. I think this one is pretty close to completing my collection here. I got the 120 set of the Castle Art pencils. They had those marked down, I think by like $5 or $6, and then they had a 5% off coupon, which knocked off a few more dollars. So, where are my scissors? My scissors! Can't find. Of course, they're not in here. The time I need them, they're not in here. You're just gonna sit here and watch me fight this plastic. So I had at one point the 72 set of Castle Art pencils. Ended up finding a new home for those because they did not have any sort of number, any sort of way to swatch them, and that is just something unless it's a small set of pencils I'm coloring with anyway, it's just something I'm not going to put myself through. I have enough colored pencil sets, and if it's a whole lot easier to pick out colors if I can swatch them. I knew the 120 set had, oh my gosh, I knew the 120 set had numbers, so I have been kind of keeping an eye out for those. Oh my gosh, there you are. We're gonna get this going right now. This is a very scattered video, sorry about that. There we go. goodness. But I've been keeping an eye out for the 120 set because I do like the Castle Art pencils a lot. And when that deal came up, I did some research on it. It was actually a pretty good markdown deal for these. And so I ended up getting them. I think the only other set that I have major interest in, well, I mean, you know, if I got luminance would be nice, but I'm not going to go crazy. You know, that's one of those, they're really high and that's fine by me. The other set I am kind of keeping an eye out for is the Derwent Color Sauce. So after that, I think I'll be pretty good shape with my pencils. So the 120 set comes in this big tin. It is a hinged tin, as you can see. We have a little card. It's called the Castle Club. Interesting. It looks like you get coupon deals on product releases and such. Have to look into that. Got a little bit of a foam protector up here, which is nice. And there are very few things in the world that are as satisfying to me as seeing a nice row of colored pencils all ready to go. Haven't been touched. The smell from the pencils is a little strong, but that's okay. These do have numbers. They don't have names, but they have numbers, and I can live with numbers. I just need some way to be able to tell these apart. So, whoops. Well, these have little pieces of fabric on them. Man. So you can pull out the trays, but these will be going in a pencil case. So, looks like there are 3 trays. They look, no, they're not in complete color order. Like, there's some greens in this tray and then greens in this tray. So I'm going to have to go through and kind of put them all together. So, like, all the greens are together, all the blues are together, and so on. So I will have to swatch these. So there is that. Where can I put you? Right there. Let's see. Oh, I did go ahead and get a pencil case for those pencils because I didn't have any extra sitting around. I keep trying to buy ones that are distinct on the outside so I can, once I start memorizing what's in what, I don't really have to go digging for it. Let's get this out of plastic. Jeez, they don't play around with these plastic coverings these days. Alright, so this one has owls. I've talked before about my weird, I don't supposedly like owls, but I have a whole bunch of stuff that's owl related, so it's some kind of subconscious mess going on here. This is a 120 pencil set, I believe. And you've got the individual slots, which is mostly what I was looking for. I prefer these over the ones where you can fit 3 or 4 pencils in a set, so, or in a notch. So the Castle Arts will be finding their home here. The rest of it, well, I did pick up some Arteza watercolor paper. I got the Expert watercolor pads, is 2 pads with 32 sheets each. I have the smaller spiral bound watercolor pads, but I didn't have the bigger ones. These could always be trimmed and actually used in the printer as well. So I did buy that shelf unit, that little corner shelf unit I talked about. I'm not going to drag that thing out. I haven't tried even putting it together yet. So the rest of it, I think, is just small set stuff. This is my weakness, is I'll see a small set of something to try and then I wind up with a drawer full of small set stuff. These are the Tan Mint dual tip brush pens. There's 36 of them. There you go. And excuse me. I've seen other people review these and color with these. and they look pretty nice, so I figured I'd go ahead and get this. Sometimes I just want to grab a book and color and just take a small set of markers with me, kind of like the Faber-Castell ones I used, the grip color markers I used in my coloring chat, and just have that one set to pull from. So this is 36, come in this little plastic snap case. I'll pull one out, take a looky. They feel pretty comfortable in the hand. They're not super big markers. They're almost closer to gel pen size, really. They have a brush tip. And then they have... and then they have a really fine tip. Almost like a fine liner. So there's that. I was hoping these would fit in one of my new zip pouches, but I may have to find another home for them. Then I decided to get these paint markers. They are water-based paint markers. They are Zayar brand. And I want to get back into it. My original, when I wanted to get back into art related stuff a few years back, the first thing I really started looking at was wood burning. And I know, like, I've never talked about that, but it's something I've always kind of wanted to get back to. And I noticed that these would be something good to use on wood, like if you're wanting to paint parts in and stuff. So these are water-based paint markers. They are smaller than I thought they would be. The case itself, I'm trying to think of something to compare it to. So this marker, let's look at this Jelly Roll gel pen. And kind of a comparison. So they're shorter than those pens. Maybe the same width, if not just a little bit wider. So they're a lot smaller pens than I thought they would be. So, again, I am bad about checking sizes of stuff. So, can I get this plastic off this one easily? Or is it going to be difficult? If it's going to be difficult, we're just going to move on. Because all of these are individually wrapped in plastic. Which I guess I appreciate if one of them were leaking. That's going to be a real pain in the keister when I actually want to use them. Okay, so I got the plastic off that one. This is what the tip part looks like. Of course, it's clear right now. This probably works like other paint markers where you do this to prime it. Primed pretty quickly, actually. And then there is your paint. Primed pretty quick, actually. Very cool. Alright. I've been wanting to use these, but like the Pitt pens and stuff are really expensive, and so I wanted something a little cheaper that I could play more around with first before I really go and invest in something like that. And finally, they had the Papermate Flare felt tip pens marked down. Oops. Yeah, it's actually already kind of drying. It's only got a little bit on me. Get a little bit there. There. These are water-based. That's interesting. I wonder what would happen if you put used water with them. Anyway. I did get a pack of Papermate Flares, felt tip pens, because I didn't have them. These are also rather expensive, and they had a pretty good markdown on them, so I thought I would get those to try them. I tried to stay away from any sort of gel pens or anything, but these I couldn't quite resist. So, yeah, that was pretty much my Amazon purchases. Like I said, didn't quite go as crazy as I did last year. Got a few things new to try, and then got some backups to stuff. So, I'm pretty happy with it. Wasn't real thrilled overall with Prime Day this year, but that's fine. I have been seeing a lot of people posting that they found Prime Day deals on like off brands of markers and stuff, which is awesome. And I'm glad they did, but it's really odd because I didn't see those anywhere. So I think in the future when Prime Day comes up, I didn't need any more markers, so I'm not that upset about it. But I think in the future I'm going to like create more of a, I would recommend creating a wish list. And then when Black Friday or Prime Day comes around, checking that wish list to see if there is a Prime Day deal on something and it's just not showing up on their Prime page. So that seemed to happen this time, and that was really kind of annoying. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.